Hey everyone, thanks for being here. I'm Kurt Roth, and this is the 505 Sports Venture Program. And we are in beautiful downtown Albuquerque, high above Central Avenue. My producer, Adrian, behind the screen. President Steve Davis up the stairs. Once again, coming to you with the latest about our NIL fundraising and, of course, the University of New Mexico Lobos. We have a very special guest to discuss two things in part today. One, the hiring of our new football coach, Bronco Mendenhall, and two, the progress of men's basketball at the University of New Mexico, off to a flying start. So first, we're going to mention we have a new coach, and he's already stepped out. You can see it all over social media, on our webpage at 505sports.org. On X, formerly known as Twitter, you can go to 505SVF's homepage and see a clip from Bronco's press conference where he discusses in great detail the importance of name, image, and likeness for the UNM football program. So we're already off and running with special donations and a special program for UNM football. Please get on the social media, 505sports.org, and check it out. President Steve Davis has already joined us in the support of Bronco, and we thank him for that. So once again, it's 505sports.org. Let's get on board. Let's make this thing happen here. Okay, we're going to take a short break, and we're going to be back with our guest right after this. Stay with us, please.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Spell, get ready!
My coach, my teacher, my older sisters, my grandma, my brother, my tutor, my dad, and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
If you're drunk, blasted, intoxicated, ripped, plastered, destroyed, bruh. If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. We're here with the 505 SVF program, and I want to welcome our special guest, Rob Portnoy, voice of the Lobos. Rob, thanks for coming.
Oh, I love being with you, Kurt. Thanks for having me back.
Okay, so there's a lot to talk about and so little time. Let's get right at it. The big story here in New Mexico is the hiring of a new football coach who's familiar to old-time Lobo fans. It was over 20 years ago he was here as an assistant. Went on to bigger and big success, I guess. I don't want to say better things, but big success at BYU and then across the country at the University of Virginia. Bronco Mendenhall. So, what do you think?
Yeah, no, he took the the first head coaching position, right, of his career after he left the University of New Mexico, and had an opportunity there at BYU to help bring a program back that had been, suffering from some hard times. And I mean, the track record's unbelievable, right? They were bowl eligible every year that he was there, 11 straight. And then 6 years at Virginia, and out of those 17, he had 16 bowl eligible teams. He took Virginia to a New Year's Day bowl. He won multiple Mountain West championships at BYU. He knows the league. He knows the region. He knows UNM. I think the hire is a grand slam.
Yeah, it's unbelievable to me. And I've been really bothering, I think, Eddie Nunez. And I mean bothering him because I keep looking at him and saying, how'd you do this? BYU, although, as you said, they had been in a hard time when he came, they are heavily funded. They spend a ton of money. They acted as an independent for a while, which in football, which was odd, but big budget. Well, now they're in the Big 12. So you go from that program across the country to the ACC in a huge program. Tons of money, incredible exposure, big-time competition. So takes a year, 2 off, builds a ranch, and now UNM. To me, it's just, it tells me that despite all the success, despite all the big numbers, he's basically a football coach. And he loved his time here, and he's going to make it work.
Fascinating, right? And I think the other piece of it, Kurt, is, and he said this in his press conference, he likes to fix things. He likes the rebuilding project. And he took that over at BYU, and he did it. And then Virginia, you know this as well as most, it's a basketball school. It's tough to win there in football. And he took on that challenge, and he embraced it, and he succeeded. He's taken on the biggest challenge yet of his career, for sure, coming to the University of New Mexico and trying to turn a program around that, well, he was around at the outset of the greatest run of success, really, in recent history, and he was part of it with Rocky Long. So he knows what it's like. He knows what University Stadium can be when it's full, and he talked about it not happening overnight. The interesting part of that is, I think that this 2-year window right now, this next 2 years, while Oregon State and Washington State are figuring out what they're going to do moving forward, they have this opportunity as the Pac-12, as we know it, dissolves, to reorganize and see what they can pull together moving forward with regard to a conference. And you want to be positioned perfectly for that. And for UNM, that means football needs to come to the fore. And Coach Mendenhall is here to make that happen.
Yeah, it's an amazing challenge, I think. He talked at his press conference about how they added a win each year. It doesn't happen overnight. It's hard work. Now, I personally met with him Friday of last week, and what blew me away was I felt I was in a room with a business executive, not only a football coach, because he talked in terms of football, but it was a real lesson in organization. He discussed, although he didn't name any of his assistants to me, that they all worked with him before, and they're all part of the Mendenhall team. And it could be that there's people from BYU who followed him to Virginia. I have to admit, I haven't done the research on that. But he has a team in place. He has a vision, clearly. And, the other thing that people will talk about, we heard now he's the highest paid public employee in New Mexico, $1.2 million. That is not even a third of what he was getting paid at Virginia. So clearly it's not the money, it's the challenge. What do you think? As the voice of the Lobos, but as a fan, what's going to be his biggest hurdle?
I'm so encouraged, first of all. And I think already the biggest hurdle has been overcome. You talked about it, the resources that he had at Brigham Young University. Well, this is a $500,000 per year step up in terms of what New Mexico was putting into its football coach before and to what it is now putting into its football coach. There is clearly a commitment in resources, to the football program that we haven't seen before. And as long as that continues, he's going to have the tools that he needs to succeed. The hardest thing is the players, right? That's the single most difficult thing, is getting the talent here. There will be a little bit of a drain in that talent in his first year, because there will be players that are moving on. The collective obviously is going to hopefully help in keeping some of those here, but some will move on because of the portal and NIL opportunities elsewhere. That's why the NIL is so important here in Albuquerque. And he said it. He said it himself. He said, back in the day, facilities, those were as big a thing in recruiting as you could possibly have. He said, it's been trumped. It's the financial resources available to the players who can now get paid for the use of their name, image, and likeness. He's talking about the collectives and NIL.
Well, there we are. It's a challenge. We're on board with him. We're going to come back. We're going to take a break. Rob, again, thanks for being here. And we're going to talk a little bit more of football, and then we're getting on to basketball. So stay with us.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
Seriously? You expect me to drive while you aren't wearing seatbelts?
What's the worst that can happen?
Seriously? Buckle up.
Okay.
Thank you.
Welcome back, everybody. We're here at the ProView Studios with our special guest, the voice of the Lobos, Rob Portnoy. And we've been talking about Bronco Mendenhall and the Lobo football. Now, Rob, while we were off camera, we started to discuss what was the Lobo schedule of football for next year, which is a meat grinder to begin with. Some good home games, but you brought up the point that because of the addition in the schedule of Washington State and Oregon State, the whole schedule is subject to change. So let's talk about that. That means, in addition to the pay games that we have, we're most likely going to have another P5 team come into, at least one come to Albuquerque.
Could be coming to Albuquerque, or we could be going there. We won't know that for sure until it all gets figured out. But yes, there was a 3-year scheduling bracket, if you will, that has now been put into flux because of the scheduling alliance with Oregon State and Washington State. So you're correct, the Lobos in non-conference will go and play at both Arizona and Auburn, but former Power 5 schools, Washington State and Oregon State, are each going to play a Mountain West team, and every Mountain West team gets to play them once. And we won't know which one we'll get until it all gets worked out, but that will increase the difficulty of the schedule for sure. And then we'll have to see what else happens with regard to the other Mountain West teams and who comes here to Albuquerque.
Yeah, welcome to New Mexico. Welcome back, Bronco. You've got on the road University of Arizona. You've got Auburn, of course, down there. And now possibly another road trip to Washington or Corvallis, Oregon for Oregon State. So, again, I can't say it enough. I know people might get tired of me. We need your help because we've got to give Bronco the resources. We've got to help with the roster. We have two top-notch ball players, our quarterback and Mountain West, an All-American running back who have expressed their desire to come back. Tell us about those guys.
Phenomenal. It's a fabulous starting point. You're talking about Devin Dampier, who is an amazing dual-threat quarterback, and then Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, who is a 1,000-yard rusher. Both of them would be a fabulous nucleus for the Lobos to build around. The thing that Coach Mendenhall is going to have in front of him is rebuilding the offensive line. And that's going to be critical because none of what happened for both of those players and the graduate transfer quarterback Dylan Hopkins, who had such an amazing year, none of that happens without the way the offensive line performed. So there'll be some turnover there, and obviously that is the backbone of any good offense moving forward.
Well, again, we're here talking about supporting UNM athletics. President Steve Davis just joined up today as a member, in addition to his already existing support for Lobo football. He's directed his $20 a month payment, or maybe it's $30 a month. I think, sorry, Steve, don't want to lowball you. $30 a month toward Lobo football, specific. And that's how our organization works. If you go to 505sports.org, there is a whole page about how to donate. And you can donate at different levels. Of course, we're looking for the millionaire. But we have founders, a big one, $25,000. We have a Catalyst Club at $2,500 a year. And then our Lobo Lair member, which gives you access to the website and whatnot, special events. And that's $20 a month. So we're looking to retain these guys, the two you mentioned, and probably almost 20 more. So again, I'm asking people, do what you can. It's 505sports.org. So, all right, I'm going to stop asking you for money for a minute, and now let's go to Lobo basketball. Another interesting weekend at the Dollar Loan Center or Dollar Loan Arena in Henderson. What's your overall thought?
Well, 8 in a row is pretty nice. 9-1 to start the year is fantastic. And the first thing that comes to mind, Kurt, is you're talking about a team that a season ago was prolific offensively, but at the bottom of the conference defensively. If you go and look at the national ratings right now, offense and defense, the Lobos' number on defense is actually higher than their number on offense. And I don't think anyone would have thought that 10 games in to 2023-2024. It is a fascinating transformation in the way that this team plays. The offense has not missed a beat. It is still a top 50 offense where the Lobos didn't allow a field goal. And then the next half of basketball, they do it again. It's pretty amazing what they're doing.
Yeah, people think I sound like a broken record. This is my 51st year of up front close watching Lobo basketball. There's no team prior that has the depth that this team does. I mean, there's 10 guys out there knocking it around. I love the complete frustration and disorganization of the other team. That defense is impressive because they can't even get normal shots. You know, their shots are forced, the clock's running down, big men are taking 12-footers. It's great. That's only going to get better. Okay, we're about to take another break. We're going to come back. Got a big game on Friday. I don't care what the roster looks like down there. That is not a fun place to go to. So, Rob, hang with us. We'll be right back. See you in a minute.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
I drive you madman home, huh? I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom. Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight. Boom. Boom.
Hey everybody, welcome back to our third segment of today's 505 SVF program. I'm here with Voice of the Lobos, Rob Portnoy, and we're talking men's basketball. Now, situation's different than it has been in the past, but there's a game in Las Cruces.
You know that the Cruces fans are going to be out for blood. New Mexico just put it on their Aggies. 44 points was the margin in Albuquerque. The pit was rocking. Biggest crowd since '09, and the biggest margin in that series, save for but one time. The Lobos beat them by 48 one other time. It was a beatdown. Now, one thing that happened in that game that we hope doesn't happen again is the fouls. Oh my goodness, that game was a whistle fest. It's interesting the Lobos are coming off another game that felt a little bit like that in Vegas. Coach Pitino even talked about it. Yeah, we want to press. Yeah, we want to pressure them, but we got to do it without fouling. It's really the only thing that kept...
That's something that takes time. I mean, it's one thing to press. It's another thing to kind of fine-tune it where you're not committing fouls on every play because there's a lot of contact on that offense.
No question. Defending without fouling is probably the hardest thing that there is to do. Interesting that New Mexico State, their new style is one of defense and physicality, and that's kind of the culture that they're trying to build under their new coach. So they're going to foul, and they've been fouling. They fouled a lot this year, not just against the Lobos. So that's probably going to be part of it. New Mexico's going to have to hit his free throws.
Oh, okay. Well, you know, free throws are funny. They're contagious, missing and making. Like, somebody goes to the line, makes two, and all of a sudden you made 9 in a row. Or you miss one, and then the next guy misses. So we'll hope for the best. It'll be a battle. I think it's going to put them on me. So luckily, my friend Rick Siegel calmed it down. I sat down, and I learned a lesson that the rules are different in LC. So, again, we're looking forward to that. That'll be a blast, and it's all part of this evolution of a program. And, you know, Coach Pitino's talked about it. It's year 3. So, I mean, we're in a great spot. No? I mean, let's talk for a minute while we got a minute before the next break. Donovan Dent, what do you see?
Oh, unbelievable. So, opportunity, first of all. Jalen House misses 5 games. Donovan Dent gets the ball like it's literally his team. And then let's add in True Washington because 5 games out, Jamal Mashburn Jr. True Washington's minutes go up. It starts with Mash having
to it a little bit, but he is just like a hitman without the flair. Well, I shouldn't say that. His game is so good. He is flared. He has flair. The fact that you said once he starts downhill, I think he can go downhill anytime. I don't think it's a start. I think it's when he decides he's going to do it. And I am just blown away. And then we get to, wait a minute, we have a transfer portal. So what's the future bring with the Lobos? Anyway, time for a break. Hang with us, and we'll be right back to say goodbye.
Hey, Dad, I'm going to go out.
So that was our... Rob, thanks for being here. Everybody, welcome back. Thanks for being here again. You know I'm going to ask you to come on. We have a lot to talk about in the near future. So thanks, and we'll see you down in LC on Friday.
Can't wait. Anytime you want me, anytime you need me, I'm here.
Okay. Guys, gals, we just talked about specifically in the last segment two freshmen and a sophomore, Donnie Dent, True Washington, JT Toppin. We have the transfer portal. In early January, we're having an event. It's a Mountain West tip-off gala. Downtown Albuquerque, we're selling tickets. Go to the website. We'd love to see you if you're a basketball fan. And finally, our partnership with CaringScent.org. You can go there. You can go to our website and make a specific donation right now to Bronco Mendenhall and Lobo football. Stay with us. We'll be back next week. Check us out, 505sports.org. We need your assistance. We're going to make this happen. And thanks for being with us. Till next week, we'll see you.
Find it on ProView Networks.